Hi guys, it's Mrs. C here with Cycle 3 week 24. We did it. I can't believe it's the last week and then it's over. I was a little sad today. I wasn't ready for it to be over. Although I'm ready for a break, I just wasn't ready for it to be over. So anyway, we'll jump right in with geography. I didn't do anything crazy for geography today. I went around before class and just colored in the different features. I drew some waves in the Gulf of Mexico, just kind of circled in where the Mississippi River Delta was, colored in Mammoth Cave, San Andreas Fault, and Death Valley. And we started in the Gulf of Mexico, then we swam into the Mississippi River Delta, and we swam up the Mississippi to Mammoth Cave. We took 3 giant steps over to Death Valley, and then we ran our finger up and down the San Andreas Fault. So we did that a few times, just went over them. Nothing big. Geography was pretty easy. So then we went on from geography and we went to English. Usually I go into timeline, but since we had the presidents, I saved that for the end. So I made these little sheets and they're just kind of like a flow chart for the 7 sentence patterns. I posted these in the tutor group. If I can figure out how to attach an actual page down in the bottom of this, I will. I don't know if I'll be able to figure that out because I'm not super tech savvy, surprisingly. So anyway, what we did is we played duck hopscotch. So I have these little rubber duckies and they're all different colors. You can use any kind of little figurine, whatever you want to do. And we just went subject, verb. And then we went subject, verb, direct object. Subject, verb, indirect object, direct object. And we just went through and did all the different patterns that way. We did it several different times. We did it fast, saw how fast we could do it, and just went over it, and I let them take these home. So if they want to practice it, they can. So that was English. For math, we got up. I hadn't used my agility ladder in a long time, so we got the agility ladder out, and I just had them hop while we said that it didn't do law for addition states, and then they would hop and say a plus 0 equals a, and then I'd say the agility law for multiplication states, a times 1 equals a. And we did talk about how this one's a little bit different because in our previous laws for addition versus multiplication, they've been the same thing. We've just changed the plus sign to a multiplication sign. But in this one, our 0 changes to a 1. And we talked about a little bit about what that was. I don't spend a lot of time on that because that can be done at home, but just to kind of help them grasp what they're talking about. So again, we just jumped. A plus 0 equals a, and a times 1 equals a. And they jumped through the jump ladder. Everybody got a turn to go through it, and then I let them hop as fast as they wanted to on into their seat. And when we got back to their seat, I got my handy dandy, getting a little used looking voice action sticks out, and let them each pick one. And we use those to do our science for natural selection. So this is week 24, but if you haven't been here before, maybe you're just now joining, and that is totally fine. My action sticks are say things while jogging, say it while hopping, say it with a robot voice, stand and say it like a soldier. It's all different ones for these. There are tons of lists out there, and if you look on Pinterest, just look up like voice/action cards or printables, and you will find lots of them. So that's what we did for science. Again, I usually have 7 kids in my class. Today I only had 6. So they're hearing it one time when I'm saying it the first time, and then each kid gets a stick, so that gets our 7 times in really easily. For Latin, we brought back Dave because my kids love Dave the dinosaur. I wish that I had incorporated him earlier, but he was a last minute impromptu a few weeks ago, and they've just loved him. He has a really silly tongue, so I fussed at him to keep his tongue in his mouth. And Dave doesn't speak any English, so we're trying to teach him some Latin. So far, the only words he's figured out are rar and hi and flibberty-gibbet. So that's what we did, and we just try to teach Dave the Latin and the English. So we'll say the Latin a few times for him, and then we say the English a few times, and we say it all together, and then Dave sees if he can say it, and he usually can't. It's okay, Dave. So that was Latin. We have been practicing the song all year in our morning assembly. So, and that's what we listen to during review. So they understand, or they have it pretty well, down pretty well. So I haven't been as stressed about Latin as them getting it, but I do like to color code it so they can see the coordination of the words and talk about how sometimes they're different, or when we've had articles in our sentence, pointing those out to them. and just letting them see the Latin all written out. So then we went on to history. Is that right? Yep. So for history, I saw a really great idea of hand motions to help you remember. And I switched just a couple of them because it was helped me remember differently. But you have one, so the first Bill of Rights is freedom. It's the freedom of speech is what that one's about. So we're going to take our finger and we go like this. So freedoms. And then 2, we're actually going to do our 2 this way and we're going to turn it into own guns. 3, courting soldiers. So we're going to have 2 on this hand and 1 on this hand. And so if you and your husband are living at home, or if you're living by yourself and some soldiers come, you don't have to let them into your house. So they can't stay with you. So they don't have to be in your house. So this is how we do 3. Warrants. This is the one that I changed. So I just took and did 2 fingers and we put them together like this to make a W to remember warrants. Okay, so warrants. And then 5, we're gonna go like this. Cannot testify against self. So it's kind of like when you put your hand up when you're getting in up to testify in court and you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So we have 5, cannot testify against self. 6, right to speedy trial. So we're gonna put 5 up on this hand now and use our 1 to make 6, and then we're gonna point to our watch to say like, Speedy, you better hurry it up. I don't wanna be waiting around for my trial. Okay, then 7, we're just going to take 2 and put it in front of the 5 here. I guess you could do 3 in front of the 4 if you wanted to, but I just did it like this. And this is to represent our people over in the jury box. So you kind of hold the 2 down a little bit lower. So 7 is a right to a jury. Cruel, unusual punishment. This one's the funniest one to me, but we're going to make our 8 like this. And we're saying like cruel and unusual punishment would be to like cut off your thumbs for something. So we don't do cruel and unusual punishment. So that's why we do 8 like that. And then we have 9 people's rights. So we have 9, but then we're going to take this thumb and point it at ourselves because we are people. Sorry, I have a very overtired toddler. So people's rights. And then 10, we have everybody. So we have all 10 fingers and we're going to go all together. It's the states, all the states' rights. So that is what we did for our history today. And when we did that and I showed it to them a couple of times. We went over it and then we listened to the song a couple of times so that they were able to kind of hear it, and we did the hand motions for those. So then we went and did the presidents after history. So the presidents is long and it's a lot of them, and they do them every year, just like the timeline. So especially if you have littles, don't stress about them getting them all and really having a creative way to teach them. I laid out all of the timeline cards and we just sang through the song. We did take a moment to talk about that there are some names that are repeated in there. So Cleveland is obviously one of them, or Garfield, Arthur, Cleveland, Harrison, Cleveland. Yeah, Cleveland. Roosevelt, Harrison. My son pointed out there's 2 Harrisons. Bush. So we just took a minute to kind of see which names repeated, and we looked and kind of saw if there were any presidents we recognized, because we do talk about some of them in our history sentences. So Woodrow Wilson. I'm trying to remember. Did we talk about Nixon? I can't remember if we talked about Nixon, but we've talked about a few of them, and just where we hear their names, and then we just sang through the song a few times. So nothing too crazy, and I just point to them as we're singing. And I haven't heard, maybe you guys have heard, have they updated it to add Biden in yet? I haven't heard the new updated song. I know that they kind of switched the tune a little bit when we added in Trump, and I need to relearn it because I still have the old tune in my head. So anyway, if you guys know if they have, I haven't heard one yet, so we need to come up with one. And also, if you do have the cards, last time they issued out new president's card with the new president on it. I believe it was free, and I think you got them when you ordered your guide. So once they get those out, you should be able to get a new card that has the additional president on there. So anyway, that was all we did today. Our class was super intense because we had missed a science project when we had a snow day, and we had done it online, but we didn't do the science online, so we had to squeeze in a science project. It was the bubbler, so that was a fun one because we blew up the balloons with some baking soda and vinegar. So that was kind of a good way to end the day. And we talked about Bigfoot, and I know what I was going to tell you guys. I don't know if you know the little, let me see if I can find it in here. the little chant that goes, or not chant, but like the little rhyme that goes for the mean, median, and the mode. If I can find my paper, I should have had that out, sorry. But it's to the, not the tune, but to the rhythm of Hey Diddle Diddle. So, of course, I can't find it. I have so many papers in here. It's really ridiculous. I had to clean out my classroom today. So, hold on. All right, Livy, you gotta get down. Okay, I can't find it. I think it goes something like, hey diddle diddle, the median is the middle, add and divide for the mean, the mode is the one you see the most, and the range is the difference between. I think that's how it goes. If I find my paper, I will tell it to you correctly, but I think that's how it goes. You can look it up online. Just look up mean, median, and mode poem or rhyme. Yep, I have no idea where my paper went that I wrote it on. So, anywho's, but it goes something like that, and that's really helpful. It helps me remember which one each is. So again, I think it is, hey diddle diddle, the mean is the middle, the median is the middle, you add and divide for the mean, the mode is the one you see the most, and the range is the difference between. So the median is just the middle number, and then you have the mean, which is where you add up all your numbers and you divide them. And then you have the mode, which is the one, whatever number that repeats the most times. And then the range is your biggest number minus your smallest number. So we went over that today and just discussed those, and that little poem, like I said, I think that is how it goes. But it's how I really helps me remember. So I told that to the kids, and then we did it a little bit, and I showed them what that meant. We drew a bar graph, and they really wanted to draw a pie chart, of course. So we drew a pie chart. And if you have the littles, obviously there's 50 states worth of data for Bigfoot. So I didn't use 50 states. I let them each pick one of their favorite states, and I did 7 states so that I could have a definite median, whichever number was in the middle. So anyway, that was everything today. I hope you guys have an awesome summer. I'll probably be on around a little bit with some different videos about prepping to be a tutor, or what I do over the summer, or random family stuff. But thank you guys so much for all of your hard work you've put into your classes and your kids this year. Thank you for all the encouragement you've sent me. I love that CC is not just my local community, but this huge, broad community of all you awesome tutors out there. And I hope you guys have an awesome summer, and I will see you back next year. Bye.